A very good morning to all our Sports Today family members. It is Super Sunday today. You got India versus Pakistan in the Emerging Asia Cup final that will begin at 2 p.m. IST. You got the Ashes contest. Today we may see whether the urn stays with Australia for 2 more years or England will make it 2-2. The weather, I will come to all that later. Then you have got India versus West Indies. You got Formula One. We'll be doing all this in an action-packed morning wrap. But before I come to this particular situation when it's regarding cricket, I'm going to take you back to Dhaka. The tied ODI between India and Bangladesh and the scenes that followed afterwards was really not good and not in the spirit of cricket, because yesterday we saw that India were dismissed and the match was tied in Mirpur. So for the first time in history, Bangladesh managed to share the series 1-1. And now, after this, the post-match presentation and whatever happened in Mirpur after that was nothing short of farcical, because Harmanpreet Kaur has gone on to criticize the umpiring. She even used the word pathetic. The umpiring standards were pathetic in the third ODI in Mirpur. Smriti Mandhana has also chipped in saying that the umpiring was very poor. And during the course of the match, when there were three dismissals which came under the scanner, Yastika Bhatia, then Harmanpreet Kaur. When Harmanpreet Kaur was given out, at that time she absolutely smashed the stumps and that invoked the ire. Now, two particular incidents happened after that match. Number one, Harmanpreet Kaur, when the team photo, when both the sides were wanting to pose for the photo because they had shared the trophy, Harmanpreet Kaur was sarcastically telling, even call the umpires to your team. That was the situation. Even call the umpires. It seemed to indicate that the umpires were totally in favor of Bangladesh, and that is why this particular jibe happened. They were furious. Even the Bangladesh players were furious, and immediately after the photo op session was done, they walked off the field without even a courtesy or without any of the other exchanges, pleasantries that would have happened. In the post-match press conference that the Bangladesh players had attended, Nigar Sultana, who is the skipper, she said, Harmanpreet Kaur should have shown better manners. Now, this is only going to escalate the current situation that is there between India and Bangladesh. Remember, in the past, we've had some very fiery encounters. Under 19 World Cup, you saw the behavior that was there from both sides. I mean, there was aggression, there was also a lot of expletives, a lot of confrontations during the Under 19 World Cup 2020 final. Even here, there wasn't much of a confrontation. Maximum of the, you may say, the hostilities came from the Indian side. You may say Harmanpreet Kaur. Now, whether Harmanpreet Kaur was right or wrong in this outburst that she had, and also the behavior, because remember, she also alleged that the Indian Harmanpreet Kaur I'm talking about, Harmanpreet Kaur alleged that the Indian High Commissioner who was there at the venue, he was refused to be in the post-match ceremony as well. Now remember, heads of some officials and diplomats can be there in the post-match presentation also, but even he was not there. Now, all this is escalating into a major situation in the India versus Bangladesh encounter. Because is Harmanpreet Kaur right in the justification that was there? Whatever she did, the actions, knocking the stumps out and criticizing the umpires, was it right? Because remember, Tanveer Ahmed is the umpire who's under the scanner in Bangladesh at this point. He has at least captained in 8 matches. I mean, 8 international matches, if I may add. Now, you get a wrong decision. You get all these kind of things that go against you. It's fine to have an outburst, but maybe you have to keep it in the dressing room at that point in time. But what has happened is that Harmanpreet Kaur has openly criticized the umpires and also used language which might not be good in the spirit of the game. So maybe at this point in time, there might be sanctions coming in for Harmanpreet Kaur for the way how she behaved and how she managed to ensure that this match, the mistakes that the Indian cricket team made, that would be pushed to the sidelines and the umpiring would be under the scanner. Now, remember, after Sydney Gate, when everything was magnified in the India versus Australia test match in 2008, umpiring and whatever are the outbursts, it's not restricted anymore to just the dressing room. If you say it in the broader public, there will be repercussions. So that is why Harmanpreet Kaur has been criticized. The Bangladesh skipper said she could have shown better manners. And not inviting the Indian High Commissioner into the presentation area, that probably also could snowball into something big. But it does not hide the fact that the ICC, BCB, and the BCCI deserve a lot of criticism for the way how the series was handled. Firstly, no official broadcaster. You just had it on your YouTube channel. The Bangladesh Cricket Board's YouTube channel had scanned the entire match series. On top of that, no DRS, because no official broadcaster, no DRS. If there was DRS, you would have at least overturned some of the venues. Why is the criticism valid? It is part of an ICC ODI championship cycle. This isn't a local tournament. And yet, you did not want a host broadcaster. You did not. And why? Lack of funds. This is women's cricket in 2023. This isn't women's cricket in the 80s or the 90s. In the 80s or the 90s, we could understand. But whatever lessons were learnt or unlearned, it was clearly evident in Mirpur. You don't have an official broadcaster. That itself is a bigger crying shame than the umpiring decision or the conduct of Harmanpreet Kaur that happened. So, I think sanctions are coming in for Harmanpreet Kaur. We will have an official confirmation on it once we get it. So stay tuned to Sports Today when we break that latest update. Now, from Dhaka, let us shift our attention to Trinidad. 67 runs were scored yesterday. 67. 143 runs. 67 overs, 143 runs at a run rate of 2.1. If you thought baseball cricket is enlightening test cricket, West Indies were playing anti-baseball. And Paras Mamre, who's the bowling coach, he came for the post-match press conference. He stated that the pitch was absolutely slow, and he has criticized the way how the pitch is in Trinidad, by the way. He said that we need a balanced sporting wicket. That is the word that he used, balanced sporting wicket for Trinidad. He was saying that we don't need a Dominica or we don't need a Trinidad kind of, we need a balanced sporting wicket. Sure, Trinidad, Dominica was giving you spin, it was assisting the spinners, but here there has been no pace, no seam, no spin whatsoever. And the West Indies cut out entire, you may say, the attacking options, and that's why you saw a dull, turgid day of Test cricket on day 3. And because of that, taking the remaining 10 wickets in the second innings of the West Indies batting, whenever that comes, it will prove to be a very, very monumental task. And remember, the weather for day 5 is pretty similar to what it was on day 3. You had 2 rain interruptions, 1.5 hours, and that is why it will not be easy. And if this test match is drawn, serious questions will have to be asked about the nature of the wicket in Trinidad. But yes, Paras Mamre stating that we needed sporting wickets and we need a balanced test wicket is kind of rich, considering that India themselves did not prepare good pitches during the Border Gavaskar Trophy. You look at Delhi, you look at Indore, you look at Ahmedabad, all 3 pitches were really, really bad. Indore was next level, it was a sandpit. Ahmedabad was a featherbed. Trinidad is kind of going in that way. The quarter spin wicket is absolutely not giving the pacers and the spinners any kind of help whatsoever. But Paras Mamre has also praised the efforts of Mukesh Kumar. He said that he bowled the right pace, he was getting the ball to move, he was disciplined, and that is why he's really, really done well on his test debut. So Paras Mamre reserved high praise for Mukesh Kumar, and he also said that it is glad that the Indian contingent is coming and supporting, because they all had come to see Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli is truly an inspiration in this modern era. And it has been a great test for Virat Kohli. 121 in his 500th international game. And that's why it's been one-way traffic, and that traffic is a draw at this point in time. But from Trinidad, are we going to see a draw even in the Ashes contest between Australia and England? Because today is the 5th and final day of the 4th test. Yesterday, we could see only 30 overs being bowled. And remember, the person who had the maximum impact in that was Joe Root. He got the wicket of Marnus Labuschagne with his outswingers which are going away. And that is why the weather, unfortunately, on Saturday was very bad. It was as predicted. It would be very, very bad. And it did live up to its expectation. 90% chances of rain. You had 10%. There was a period when you could get overs in. But then the first session was totally washed out, the third session was totally washed out. Today on Sunday, the weather is even more bad. If I may use the term, the weather is apocalyptic on Sunday. They're saying heavy to very heavy rain is predicted in the greater Manchester area, and it is in the greater Manchester area where you are seeing Old Trafford. Now remember, the repercussions will be big. If the rain washes out this entire final day, the urn stays with Australia for 2 more years. If England somehow get a slim passage of play and run through the remaining 6 wickets, then you may see that England might actually achieve a 87-year first as well. So there is still plenty to play for in the Ashes, but remember, the rain is absolutely going to pelt down in Manchester at this point in time. But if the weather clears up, you need 45 minutes for the ground staff to ensure that you can get play ready. Perhaps you may see a result. But it looks like England hold the aces. If there is play today, England will hold all the aces. It won't be easy to get a result that easily because Australia will hang in their batting till number 10. That is why. So if Australia managed to hold on, luck, and Pat Cummins' decision to pick 10 batters, excellent decision indeed for him. So at this point, Australia versus England, the final day of the Ashes, all to play for now because England will want to hope that the rain stays away. Australia will be doing some rain dances, but if it's a draw, then the urn stays with Australia for 2 more years. If England win, all to play for at the Oval, and 87 years of history can be repeated in a dramatic way. From Old Trafford, let us shift our attention to Colombo, and today we are going to see the India versus Pakistan Emerging Asia Cup final. Remember, India have been undefeated. Pakistan lost to India in the league stages, so that is why India versus Pakistan Chapter 2 is going to begin in Colombo today. Will India continue their domination in emerging and age cricket? It remains to be seen. Pakistan, on the other hand, they will want to avoid a repeat of what happened. Winning the toss, they may want to bowl first. But remember, India, the likes of Nishant Sindhu, you may say the likes of Rajvardhan Hangargekar. Remember, it was Hangargekar who got 5 wickets against Pakistan. So the batting let them down. In the final today, they'll be hoping that the batters step up to the plate. Now, when we look at the world of other sports, Manchester United versus Arsenal, the pre-season friendly, you saw Manchester United win 2-0. And it was Jadon Sancho and Bruno Fernandes who ensured that Manchester United started their 2023-24 campaign on a high by beating Arsenal. Now you would be asking, if Manchester United won 2-0, why were the penalties? And which Manchester United won, by the way, 5-3 in the US. The reason is Manchester United and Arsenal managers had agreed pre-match that in case of a draw or in case of a win or a loss, there will be a penalty shootout because they want to practice a penalty shootout in front of a packed stadium so that they can absorb the pressure. Remember, England's players, and when it comes to penalties in a FIFA World Cup, and even in the Euro, it's a match made in hell indeed. So Manchester United won 2-1-0 against Arsenal, but they even won 5-3 on penalties as well. Now there is a big twist when it comes to the Kylian Mbappe saga. Remember, now Saudi Arabia, Al Hilal have jumped in for a 225 million USD bid. Are they going to do it? And if that happens, it'll break the record for the most expensive player as well. So Kylian Mbappe, is he heading for Real Madrid? Is he heading for Al Hilal? There are a lot of questions on that. So we are keeping you posted on that as well. Now in the next couple of minutes, you're going to see Satvik Sairaj, Reddy and Chirag Shetty in action in the Korea Open. Let's hope that they can continue the winning run because prior to this, they had won the Indonesia Open. They already won a 1000 event, they won a 500 event, yet another feather in Sachi's cap, if you may say. And remember, Satvik Sairaj Reddy has been smashing them at 500 kmph. That is quicker than a Formula 1 car at 7th gear. This is really magnificent to say the least. And talking about Formula 1, Lewis Hamilton fans rejoice. You got pole position. He got pole position 104. He captioned it on his Twitter handle. Let's see if he can win for the first time since Saudi Arabia 2021 because the Hungarian Grand Prix will begin at 6:30 p.m. IST today. So let's see how that pans out. I'll end the morning wrap with the wrestling trials. Now, remember, yesterday Antim Pangal won her trial, but now she's going to approach the Supreme Court to demand why is there an exemption for Vinesh Fogart. Give her, she told an exclusive chat with Sports Today, give me one legitimate reason as to why Vinesh Fogart deserved the exemption, then I will stay quiet. But it is now confirmed Sakshi Malik and Sakshi Malik is not heading, and Sangeeta Fogart, they are not heading into the Asian Games because they skipped the trials, and because of that now they are not going to the Asian Games. It is confirmed. Anshu Malik and Savita Moore, they lost their trials. So it will be interesting to see what is their status. Are they making the Asiatics? Because remember, whatever is the result, the winners are on standby, the losers are out. So that is why Sakshi Malik and Sangeeta Fogart are out of contention for the Asiad. Anshu Malik and Sarita Moore, they are world champions in the past. They have won some world championship events. They lost in the trials. Antim Pangal has won. What will be the standout in this? Because now this face-off is only going to intensify with the Supreme Court now, and Antim Pangal is going to approach the Supreme Court. So we have got an action-packed Sunday here for you. But don't worry, we at Sports Today have got you covered. Tap that bell icon so you know whenever we go live, and don't forget we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Let's see how each and every result pans out. Hopefully for India, it will be a great day. Satvik Sairaj, Chirag Shetty is up next. I'll be there live very shortly. Bye-bye.